Hello everybody, this is Adamant MTG, and I am going to do a deck tech on a new format called Artisan. This is a current event, and I'll be doing a fairy deck, sort of a flying tribal. So let's get right into it. It's pretty much an on-curve creature-based. You can see 30 creatures. We'll take a quick look at the makeup of it. We've got a bunch of 1-drops into Rally of Wings, which is kind of a pretty solid card when it comes down to either playing it defensively or swinging for the win. Main deck Drakes, because I expect to see a lot of red deck here in the format. This is a really cool fairy with the ability to get +1 counters. Notice they're not till the end of turn, it's forever. So once you get some card draw, which we have in the form of Winged Words, theoretically depose, but we might have some ops in here. I was debating whether I wanted ops over the Fairy Guide Mother, but that would reduce our fairy count. However, that's probably strong with that. Anyways, we're going to go with this build for now. We'll try to run through a few games and maybe we'll make adjustments as we go. And here we go. The format, for those of you who are not aware, is on the front page. And this is how the format works. Standard deck, you've got a couple of limitations here, restrictions to the format. And then you play up to 5 wins. So let's give this one a try, and we will adjust as we go, depending on what we see in the metagame or what we typically face. All right, we're going to go against Jun. A reasonable start. There's only 2 Terramanders in the deck because I figured there'll be more late game, but at least to get the pluses. But a 1/1 flying for 1 isn't the end of the world. I think we're going to draw cards here. Kind of pad our hand. We have no idea what's happening on this side of the board, but it's interesting that they're playing Tournament Grounds. Are there enough knights to support a Mardu in Artisan? Maybe. Sky Knights, I like it. And that slows us down quite a bit. I like what they're doing here. They're also going to the air, but they've got their Knights army. And look at that, generating tokens too. Pretty cool. I'll just take the token out for now. I suppose we should return the favor. Nice mana flow there. They're doing fine. So are we. +2/+2 is pretty solid equipment. Do I want to do that, or am I going to lose that guy? Let's be a little more cautious. Alright, then that changes everything. Um, There's a couple things we can do here. I think the safe bet is casting that. That'll eliminate all of their aerial flyers, or their rather their offense. And now that we have the ability, I'm a little concerned that they're going to have a shock. So I think we'll just go with the Vandal and see what happens. I don't want to lose the Eagle for no reason. It's hard for them to kill it, at least if I don't attack. Whether or not they have a shock is just a guess, but it seems like it would fit perfectly in this list. So I try to play against, or play my outs accordingly. Mardu Knights. It's interesting. I hadn't even considered a Mardu Knights deck, but it looks like there's quite a few commons and uncommons. I'd have to look through the list of cards to sort by knights and see what we're coming up with, but at this point it looks pretty powerful. I think it's a good choice for those of you looking for the right deck for Artisan. This looks pretty fun. Well, we're not really getting much of our draw power. We do have a sprite that I can use as counter power or counter magic. Maybe I should do that. Let's see here. Since they're not attacking and they're kind of slowing things down, I guess we're just going to hold up as well. We have some instants to cast, should we need to, if they decide to get bold and attack us. But it looks like we have to just figure out our plan. Now we can, of course, start swinging with a 2/2, but then I don't have a blocker. So maybe the second one comes down, and we mount some sort of an offense that way. Some expensive cards, but other knights you control, well, that's one that we need to counter. That's a lot more power that we can handle right there. All right, here they come. So we'll block here to gain life. We'll block here clearly to stop. There's no kind of trample or anything, so that works out. And then I guess I'm going to take 3, but gain 2. For a net loss of 1 life, I can handle that. That's pretty solid. I think that comes down next. And I believe we'd swing. It's a pretty big hit. If we swing, we won't get killed on the return. 6, 7, 8. It's pretty close, but we get a couple of points of life gain. I feel like that is an appropriate attack. Give them something to think about. This will sting. Since they're tapped out, we didn't have to worry about that shock finishing anything. It's a good time to swing. Couple of blockers left. Of course, the big blocker. And we can consider blocking. That's the 1/1 maybe. The unicorn. Sad, lonely unicorn. Not sure why it's so sad. Maybe it lost its knight. We're not going to block anything here. They're at 4, so this is pretty much the guaranteed victory. Everything attacks, and for fun, we'll rally it up. Just because we can. Or maybe they'll just concede. Seems pretty powerful. Even if they were at full life, we would have had them. It's pretty crazy. All right, well, our deck succeeded. I really like their deck, though. I think one thing about Magic is you should always look at your opponents, see what they're doing, and get inspiration from their decks. And I do like what they came up with. 1 victory down, and yeah, we'll run another run with this exact build. I don't really think we noticed anything too terribly wrong with it. Maybe the mana base, a little tight at 20 land. Since I only had 3, but it seemed to work. Everything I had in my hand I could cast. Only have a couple of spells that cast 4, or cost 4. I might have kept this hand too eagerly, but let's see if we can get out of it. And maybe we can consider opts as well. I do think opt would be a good choice because we have these vandals and we're not really powering them up with many cards. So I think that's a good solid choice. Alright, I've seen this deck online already. We will see if we can race it in the air. This is a Dimir. The one I saw online had a lot of, disruption. The rare Planeswalker, uncommon Planeswalker. And if we can't draw the land, unfortunately, we kept a very, well, probably a good idea not to do what I did. I don't really even know what I was thinking, except for the fact that I was like, oh, I have a hand of cards. Let's go. Mulligans in Magic are something you have to be willing to do to find the cards you need to win. And this looks like a loss already. A lost cause. The deck is halfway gone. Not drawing land is pretty funny at this point. So we're going to go 1 to the face and 1 to the Planeswalker, just to take it out. Fair enough. Maybe I should have gone 2 to the Planeswalker. Make sure I get it done. Wow. It's a pretty good draw for them. Alright, 1 more land and we can see if we can get back into this game. Their attacks are just being silly. And we really need... I think dropping the Vandal now and then drawing cards is the best play. because we get a couple extra critical points of damage in. See if we can get a third land. Oh, nice. Counterspells with a couple of extra cards in my graveyard. Alright. Still got 22 cards left. We're feeling fine. I'm not too worried about that aspect of the game. See if we can draw another counterspell out. Most likely. The mill strategy is one that I've often talked about not being good enough. Now this is because it just getting to 60 cards is a pretty miraculous, like it's a pretty solid number. Let's see, we're going to do this one more time. Get another counterspell out because we know they have them. Oh, look at that. Somehow they didn't have a counterspell there. Fair enough, they just have removal. I like that. And the 3 damage. It's a pretty tight race, but at this point with only 2 cards in hand, I feel like we're going to get there. That shouldn't be it. So unless that's a counterspell. So how we could do something like try to bait the counterspell out. Like that. Since they didn't, there was no delay there, it tells me they don't have it, but you never know. 3, 6, 9. And they did not have it. Alright, second victory. The dog in the background is Max. He's very excited about this deck and how it's doing. Alright, we get an award, or a reward. I'd like to call them awards, though. We are victorious, and we have a Beanstalk Giant. Great. I like it. I like these alternate art cards. It's really cool that they do events like this. Alright, I think we do want to change it up a little bit. It feels a little bit clunky at times, so let's go out to the deck builder. And I'll show you a little trick too. You've got an Artisan selection, so that way it automatically filters your cards to the appropriate valid and legal cards for the particular event you're playing. Alright, so although the Guide Mother is a flyer and a fairy, which fits perfectly into our theme, what I sometimes question about her is that the +2/+1 is a sorcery, not a instant, so it's not always great to do tricks. Sure, you can get a +2/+1, but everything flies anyways. So although it affects our tribal numbers, I think the Guide Mother isn't as good as I want her to be. On that note, I think Opt is a great choice. It helps with our mana. Because we're running so lean, we want to be able to get into our deck a little deeper. Now you'll notice we have a lot more blue than white cards, especially now that we flip to those Guide Mothers. So I'm going to adjust my mana base accordingly as well. Just slightly. We don't really have any use for except for turn 3. So we could probably go, I don't want to go much tighter than this and not have any white sources. So let's just start with this, see how this feels. Now we still have 26 creatures, but we have more ways to get to them. So, and of course powering up our Vandals will be fun. See if we can still keep our name. Ooh, we might have to change the name of the deck to Burbs, because now we have a tribal war going on. And I do have a bird on the cover. All right, let's just keep it fairies and get in there for game 3. That's a better start. In addition, we have the Opt and the Vandal, so cool. We're not going to have a turn 1 play, but that's all right, because we want to take advantage of the Vandal's ability not to get not get too greedy or try to push our tempo when we have some obvious synergy here. Red-green, that's interesting. Let's do the Pteramander and the Hawk. We can do Vandal and Opt next turn. The evasion of the flyers really makes a deck like this a lot different than a typical aggressive deck that people can just block. Flyers are a lot harder to deal with. People typically don't have too many things, but we'll see what the red-green solution is, and maybe they'll drop big bombs and race me. I like that. Pretty typical of green, just bigger, beefier creatures. We'll go to the end step, set our stop. I guess now that I think about it, I played the typical Opt fashion, but that's not how this works. It's the second card. So, now that we know how to play Magic, we'll do this. Also, more Opts help the Pteramanders, so I think that's a pretty solid choice there. I think going as aggressive as possible is probably our best bet. Clover, interesting. Hansel and Gretel. Hansel and Gretel. House Candy. All right. Well, that was a decent draw. Kind of thing that we need to wrap this game up. A few extra life will help. A big swing and then a victory swing with Rally coming up soon. 3, 6, 9, 12. It's very possible that we had lethal there and my math skills are off. It's very early in the morning and I've already been making, I don't know, a reasonable amount of mistakes, but part of Magic is acknowledging those mistakes and figuring out, you know, obviously you don't want to make mistakes repeatedly, or but you know what? We're all human, and math is hard. So if we didn't do that and we just hit, okay. So 3, 6, 9, 12 instead of 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I think we were still short. All right, but that's victory. Mistakes or not, we are still winning. I'll take those experience points and the gold pieces. Max will cheer us on. Ooh, look at that. That raven is pretty cool. Claim our prize. And let's try to get to, let's try to make it a sweep. I think this is okay. We do need to do some card draw, and that third mana will be helpful, but we could be facing another. We don't know if they're blue-black or blue-white, but or blue-red. I like that people are trying a lot of different things. It seems like there's a lot of options in this format. Any sort of new format, people like to experiment. I like that. An early quench. So sort of a counter burn strategy, I would imagine. And they're not casting things, so they could very well have another one. So I have to consider, what's my best move? Force it? Force them to counter it? And then have rallies? Is that enough? I think I do want to push the pace, though. I can't be too worried about, although they could have multiple quenches and multiple counter spells, this limits to, well, they have a couple options here with 3 mana. But clearly they did not have it. There's 2 ways to play against counterspells. You can worry about them and assume they'll have another one and not do your things, or you can just go for it and force them to have it. I tend to try to overload counter decks, use all the threats possible and see what happens. So now let's do some math here. Well, so much for math. Never mind. So removal, flyers. I have to say they've got a plan. We're going to stop after blockers to determine what they're going to do. And we will attempt to kill their creature, get 3 damage in, gain a few life. And now we need some of our card draw. Plenty of mana. Superhero pose. That's a pretty cool card. Maybe I should have considered that in my build, but for 3 mana, it's a little bit slower than I want to be. Two mana up for a potential quench, but I'm not worried about that. They could also have the flyer, the fairy card that counterspells, and that could impact my Rally of Wings. But let's see if we can get in there. More blocks. All right, now we've eliminated their defenses. They still have 4 cards. It's quite a bit. Drawing more even. Chemist's Insight was an option that I had considered. Now we're not doing much damage here, but trying to get the job done. See if this hits. Again, they have failed to draw their second quench, and now we have an opt. We get that. Draw your second card each turn. So we're going to wait on the opt, because that only happens one time. Now they have lava coils. They've already shown us that. Drawing lots of cards to get answers right now. And so I'm not feeling especially confident. That's interesting. It's really cool that this build, there's kind of a standard build here, the shell of a standard build, and they're really getting pretty deep into these cards that I think there's some cool potential here. I really like my opponent's deck. Once again, impressed by our opponents. We'll opt now to get the pluses. Winged Words seems great right now. More card draw for them. It seems like they're digging really deep. We're swinging with everything, even though we might lose the Hawk to a chump block. They're clearly worried about the more damage, and we'll pass the turn. Again, 3 cards gives them some reasonable advantages. They can also get, here we go. They got, you draw your second card each turn, you get a fairy. Wow, that is truly an uncommon. So we have potential blockers, and we can get in for 4 possibly. Let's see if we can find another rally or some other way of swinging in for lethal. There's an opt, which gives them a fairy, which gives them a second draw, right? Once again, we're going in with everything, putting as much pressure on our opponent as we can before they get their army of flyers to defeat us. And since our folks aren't dying, they're simply... Now, what kind of sweepers could they have? I don't think they have any... Well, I hope not, at least. Any ways to eliminate our board. But they're doing a great job of keeping me at bay. It's a blocker. A card draw. If they cast a spell, they get more blockers. And they do have 3 cards in hand, plus the Chemist's Insight, so there's a lot of stuff going on here that they're definitely making a battle of it. Well, that counterspell helps me immensely. Let's start here to get a couple of pluses on our Vandals. Also gain life just to do it. And we'll attempt to swing in for potential victory, but I feel like they have options. However, this counterspell is going to be a great help for me. They can, of course, Chemister's Insight, but if I stop the next spell... No, they've got 4 blockers just like that. It's pretty impressive. And that's what we're going to counterspell. They're tapped out, so they lose all of their flyers. They do still have 3 cards in hand, though, so it tells me that... And then block there. Oh, nice. Okay. I think double blocking was fine. Maybe not. And then... I think the 2-1 is the better. All right, let's see if we can remain applying pressure. It feels like they have so many, they've gone through so many cards, but I mean, I've drawn a lot of cards too. But a great match. See how easy it is for them to generate that extra flying bodies and an additional card to potentially draw more or cast more spells for the Mystic. And plenty of mana to do all the things they need to do. Pretty big unsummon there. A blocker in addition to removing a threat. I like it. This deck is very resilient, and I'm enjoying the battle here. They sure are making it happen. So 1 threat eliminated. Couple of blocks. Four cards, wow. Their card drawing power is pretty impressive. I want to get the Pteramander out of Hypothesizal range. And Lava Coil range as well. Very cool card. Imagining they'll grab an Unsummon or a Hypothesizal. There's a lot of options there. That seems like the good choice. I've got a kind of a trick that I can do here, which is pretty interesting. Hypothesis in effect. Here it comes. Wow. Just filling up their hand so quickly is very impressive. All they have is land in their hand? Is that what that just showed me? Alright, I'll show you this little trick that I'm going to do. We'll wait till after blockers. Hold on. Yeah, discard a non-land card. I don't have to because they didn't double block this, but the trick was to get that second card as a surprise. All right. What an epic game. Double up on that enchantment. That's good. Card draw. I guess they had cards that they valued too much. Here they come. The army is mounting. It's very impressive. I can draw a second card off the sailor anyway, so I'm going to opt now. Just remember they do have counter magic as well, and there it is, the quench. Gets more birds in play. Uh-oh, I'm in that part of the game where I just start drawing lands. Two mana left. I avoid the quench here still. We need to mount more threats. Get in there. Wow, what a game. I'm not sure that was, I mean, they still had the ability to block, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe not. Yeah, that was only 4 attackers, but I guess they get tired of me constantly pressuring them. They were overwhelmed, but I do believe they had outs still. I would have liked to have seen them finish the game, but you know what? Hard to say what was in their hand. I just felt that they were very resilient, and it was a very challenging match. But we did it. Wow, that was a heck of a run. All right, let's get our prize. Ral's Outburst. That seems appropriate. It's like Ante, where your opponent gives you a card from their deck. That's pretty wild. A Giant Killer, and we are 4 out of 5 wins. A clean sweep so far. That was probably the most challenging of all the matches. Let's see if we can get this fairy/burb deck all the way undefeated in one single run. In which case, I guess that would be a roaring success. Yeah. This hand isn't too bad. I'm going to take it easy and just casually drop the Cove first. We'll go Vandal and then Opt. And we get to fight the mirror match, perhaps. Maybe? I don't know. The final boss of this run, of course. Not the mirror match, but you know what? It's going to be interesting. I really like the fact that every single deck I've faced has been unique. That makes me happy. We have one potential blocker. I think we just push for the eagle and try to apply immediate pressure. I like it. I like that synergy quite a bit. We can do both of these as instants, so I think that's a pretty fun way of attacking and trying to lure them into a bad block. If they don't take me up on the block, that's okay. Because we can still cast the Vandal and Fairy and get extra pluses. So we'll just do our 4 damage, and then second main phase, we'll do that and that. At this point, I don't think we need that 4th land just yet, but we'll get it anyways. Did I miss that land drop, or did I carelessly ignore it? All right. I like what they're doing, but I think our flyers will still take the skies. I have to admit, though, the synergy is pretty tough. Look at them go. Wow. Just dropping creatures like, wow, that's really impressive. That's a big hit. That's pretty decent timing. We could do this, get our pluses, and then have the rally available. I think that's the move right now. I like it. I feel like we have to use the rally defensively here. But this is a serious race. Okay. They do get lifelink triggers here. Wow. That is a scary amount of damage coming my way. A terrifying amount, in fact. Let's hope they don't have an answer. Any kind of removal, like a murder, would really have devastated me right there. All right, this is no joke. We have a an issue if we can't get through. Well, we're drawing some pretty decent cards. I'm gonna have to start chump blocking that big boy. Let's do some math here. 7, 14, 21 is a clock. 8. I chump here. I take 3. I don't want to lose this, but I don't want the orator to attack. So let's just go with this for now. We will drop out. I guess I should have attacked since I had this to block the order. But you know what? That's okay. Good attacks. I will block here. Maximizing my damage potential next turn. Wow. Alright, more land. Not so bad though, because we could do this. We could do it again. If we do it again, let's see here. 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's lethal. If my math skills are that good, which I don't know that they are. 7. I believe we have lethal damage in the air. And we did it with Exactsies. Wow, what a run. That was very scary. But we did it. A clean sweep of the event. We made some minor adjustments as we went. We learned the deck. I've never played that deck in my life. I've built it, tweaked it, mid-event, and we went all the way for 275 experience points, 50 gold pieces, and 2 mastery tree orbs as our rewards. Let's spend that. I've been excited about getting Embercleave, so we're on the adventure, searching and questing for the Embercleave. And we meet Seer Kyra. I pronounced that completely wrong. Okay, let's start over. Seer Kyra the Bold. I'm going to guess that's right. Oh yeah, we have another orb. It's pretty cool that she will be using Slaying Fire in her adventures to slay this basilisk or dragonborn thing. It looks pretty dead. All right, I hope you. Oh, more. How many mastery? Oh, that's just random things. Okay, back to the event, just to show we get our final reward for the event itself, the Brazen Borrower, grabbing those keys. And we did it. One full sweep. One more time, we can take a look at the deck. There it is. Some people like this view better. I'll probably snap a screenshot of this to post. And I appreciate everybody who's watched this video. It was a little bit long, but at the end of the event, it just took under an hour to go through the deck building process and to show you the full run. And we never saw Depose deploy a single game out of all those runs. Five matches, not once. Interesting, huh? So I don't even know if it's any good. So you'll have to try this deck out yourself, and hope you enjoy it. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.